Have a Q&A session also going on in the chat. So please feel free to put in your question and answers in the chat. My colleagues are going to send me some popular questions, and after each session, we're going to pose it live as well, but feel free to put your questions in the chat so that we can answer them for you. We have colleagues from the admissions team, the study advising team, and they will be happy to answer all your questions. These are the topics that we're going to cover today. I'm going to start from below. So we have some students who are going to share their experiences with us. Vieko, can you say hi to our students?
Yeah, sure. Hi, guys.
And we have Huong as well, who's going to share her experience today.
Hi, everyone.
And then we're going to, Rosemary is going to share her more details about the process of application, specifically the numerous fixes that we have for the business administration program. Hi, Rosemary.
Hi, good afternoon.
And then finally, we have Frank. Frank Belschak, he's the program director for business administration. Hi, Frank. He's going to cover what is business administration. Yeah.
Yes. Hi, everybody. Great that you're here today.
You can start, Frank. The digital floor is now yours.
Awesome. So now it becomes my story. Thank you very much. Welcome, everybody. Also from my side, my name is Frank Belschak. I'm the program director, and in my daily life, I am a professor of leadership and change at the Amsterdam Business School of the University of Amsterdam. In what follows, I will give you some information about our program in business administration, so you can make an informed choice whether you want to apply for the program. So I think that it's a good start to define business administration. So what is business administration? We all have an intuitive feeling for it. We think like, yeah, it's about business, but what exactly does that mean? So by and large, it's about managing an organization. And organization in the broadest sense. So it's a small firm, multinationals, non-profit organization, governmental organizations, all of them are facing business administration questions. So they need these topics that we're going to cover in here. And what business aspects? Again, a wide range of different aspects. So it's stuff like how to get money, how to spend money, how to reach customers, how to sell your products or your services. How to find the right people with the right skills to staff your organization, to have the right people at the right position. So you see a lot of different aspects come into play when studying business administration. So, you see in the background Google. So let's take an example. The company Google. Probably all of you know Google from the internet search engine. There you see it in the background, Google search. But Google is more than that. It has also its own web browser, like Google Chrome web browser, but then also operation systems. So Android, especially popular on cell phones. And it also bought YouTube in 2006. So that's also part of the Google empire. So imagine now that you were in charge with Google. So what kind of questions would you have to tackle if you were with a business administration background? So one might be, in terms of strategy, how can Google win the race for customers on the web browser market against big competitors like the MS, formerly Internet Explorer, nowadays MS Edge, or Mozilla Firefox, which are for free distributed everywhere. And especially lately, Microsoft has attacked the Google search engine, which was dominating the market so far, by buying OpenAI, ChatGPT, and so an AI, artificial intelligence program, and integrating it into the search engine Bing. So what should Google do? Should Google also embrace fully AI and try to compete with MS, Microsoft, or just quit the market? Is it really worthwhile to go for the competition? And what are the pros and cons of being on the stock market? Is that a good choice? Why would you do it? Why would you not do it? And thinking about HR, how do you find those highly sought after programming and AI people that you're really dependent on, but every company is looking for? And last not least, we've heard quite some things about those high-tech companies with some dubious unethical practices like UvA or Activision Blizzard a couple of years ago. So how can we stay an ethical workplace, even though there is so much pressure and competition and fast-changing pace for the business? So these are all questions, as you see, that are very timely and that are part of business administration, and you will learn actually how to tackle those during your study. Okay, so that brings me basically the study to the next point, the program. So how does your study program look like? So imagine it like a tower or a skyscraper. You start out with year one. It's a 3-year educational program like every bachelor's program in the Netherlands. So, and in the first year, it's the foundational year, which basically means business administration is multidisciplinary. You have a business problem, you want to solve it. And for solving it, you take from different disciplines. So for instance, you have mathematics, you have psychology and social sciences, you have economics, and you have also the own business administration theorizing. All of those things come together. You learn about the relevant aspects of this different disciplines for business problems. This is your first year. So we call it our 4 pillars, and you see it: organization, economy, people, and methods. And this is what you're going to get in the first year. Afterwards, it gets more complex. Afterwards, you try to apply all of those different disciplines to the different business functions. So you could say something like the departments in a company. So you have a marketing department, you have an operations department, you have an accounting department, you have a finance department. And to try to solve all those questions, you use the foundational year stuff. So for instance, in marketing, it might be that you use psychology for discovering your price. So that's the reason why you'll find only €3.99 and not €4.01 in the shops. Accounting and finance are more number crunching, so that's more mathematical. Operations research is more mathematical. So depending on what function you're looking at, you're going to use a mix of different disciplines. Well, the second half of the second year gets even more complicated. Then you integrate the different business function in a topic. So for instance, data management. You have to manage different sorts of data in a company. You have HR data, you have financial data, you have customer data, you have operations data. All of those have to be managed and potentially also linked to each other in order for management to be well informed and steer the whole company. Well, that means that after the second year, you have a pretty broad and comprehensive picture of everything that plays in business administration, which means we can give you a present. We call it your year. So year 3, basically, you can choose. You don't have a compulsory program like you had in year 1 and 2, but rather you can choose between a number of different options. In the first semester, it's about expanding your horizon. So basically, you can broaden your scope. You can move away a little bit from business administration and do something else. So maybe you always dreamt about, I don't know, studying in the US. Here's your chance. Study half a year abroad. You can spend 6 months there at one of our more than 100 partner universities and really embrace a new culture and learn how it is to live really there for an extended period of time, not only for holiday. You could also do a minor. A minor is kind of a mini program of 6 months on something else than what you did so far. So maybe you always dreamt about doing art history, but thought like, yeah, but for earning your money, business administration is better. But you always thought like, art history would be so interesting. Here's your chance. The University of Amsterdam is a big university, and basically almost every bachelor's that we have also has a minor program. That means that you can pick in English from more than 70 different minor programs. So for instance, art history. So just for 6 months, embrace the world of art history, learn 5 different courses about it so that you become a mini specialist, and then you come back. Internship, that's another possibility how to broaden your scope. Of course, we try to be applied, and we offer lots of practical examples and cases in which we show you how to apply your theoretical knowledge, but still, it's not the same as working in a company. But here's your chance. In the first semester of year 3, you can also use the time to make an internship in a company and collect precious practical experience. So you see, different ways how we can broaden your horizon, either by going abroad on exchange or by doing something non-business related or by doing something practical in an internship. And after the first semester, you come back to the UvA. And there we train you to become a specialist. Specialist means you have to pick 1 out of 4 different specializations. Why? Well, so far you have a broad overview of everything in the first 2 years. And probably you've discovered that you like some things better and probably want to work in that area later on. And this is your chance to get additional courses in this specific area. And we offer namely 4 areas. First is accounting and control. What is accounting and control? Accounting and control is basically about bookkeeping. So basically keeping track of and reporting all of your financial data, and budgeting, which means basically collecting all of your revenues and costs, putting them together and making budgets so that you're steering towards a healthy profit and not towards an unhealthy bankruptcy. Next one is entrepreneurship, innovation, and creativity. So this is not only about setting up your own business, but also, which it is to some extent, but it also covers intrapreneurship. So basically being an entrepreneur in your own company. You will see that in a lot of job advertisements, you see words like, we want people with an entrepreneurial attitude. So proactive people who are not waiting to be told what they should do, but rather think about opportunities, are willing to take responsibility, take the projects forward. That would be also part of entrepreneurship. And of course, everything related to innovation and creativity. Next one is finance. Well, finance, of course, has to do something with money. But what is money? Money is bringing money in. This is finance, really, financing stuff. But it's also about spending money. So investing. What is your best investment? Maybe the one you need to borrow 500,000 euros and you get in 5 years' time 5 million back. The other one you have to borrow only 200,000, but in 12 years you get 3 million back. Which one is more advantageous? Something you can compute. And it's also about risk management, because unfortunately, mostly highly profitable or potentially profitable projects are also highly risky. So therefore, it's mostly also about balancing. So you want to have a healthy portfolio in which you go for a high profit while at the same time buffering risks. So that would be finance. And the last topic is management. We call it management in the digital age. It's a little bit more comprehensive. So it's a broader topic which covers something like strategy, marketing, human resource management, internationalization, and always, as you see with the name, in the digital age, with a focus on digitalization. So what does digitalization mean for marketing, for instance? So what are ways to collect additional data from the internet? So with web scraping, for instance, monitoring competitors' prices, or trend analysis about customer demands for fostering data-driven decision-making. But also from the HR side or the management leadership side, it's relevant this context. So for instance, we're here now in Zoom. What does that mean for a leader? If you see your team via Zoom, how can you make them feel included? How can you make sure that there is not conflict? How do you lead those people? What is e-leadership? How do you lead people that are all over the world that you hardly see? How do people feel about that? You also talk maybe about goal setting by artificial intelligence, something like being managed by an algorithm. How do people feel about that? So that would all be topics of management in the digital age. So you see, we have an interesting program which starts out very general and then gets more and more focused and is really cutting edge towards nowadays problem. Okay, then the next question comes up, of course, and then? What then? Looking a little bit ahead. I know it might be a little bit of a stretch because you're still interested in doing a bachelor's, but still it's interesting also what can you do with it afterwards, so that might also influence your choice. So I've built it up here a little bit according to the 4 different specializations. So with entrepreneurship, for instance, in this area, you could set up your own business or become an innovation manager in a bigger company, or become a startup consultant. Especially in Amsterdam, we have tons of startups. So, and quite often they come with a technical background, but they don't know much about business administration. So they need this business administration knowledge. So they need startup consultants. Accounting is, of course, accountants. That would be more the reporting side. There are certain requirements about what has to be reported by different companies depending on their legal form and their size. You can become a controller, which is more about the budgeting aspects, or a financial advisor. With finance, you can become a financial advisor or a project manager, keeping track of the finance side, or a risk manager or an investment banker and become filthy rich. So these are your options. And with marketing, you could become, a marketeer, a strategic analyst, a consultant. So there is a lot of different things that you could do, and way, way, way more than I can mention here. But that gives you maybe an illustration of what would be potential jobs later on. All right. And if you're interested in where do a lot of our graduates end, so this is just a list of companies that hire a lot of our graduates. And okay, it's a couple of different logos, but there is also some logic in it. If you take a look in terms of accounting, there is the big accounting firms. So Ernst & Young, Deloitte, KPMG, and PricewaterhouseCoopers. Those are the 4 biggest in the world, the multinational big players, and they hire a lot of our graduates. The same goes for big multinational consultancies. So because the big 4 accounting firms are also consultancies, they have consultancy branches, and you can also see Accenture in the upper right hook, which is also big multinational consultancy. They also like to hire our graduates. Then you see big banking houses of the Netherlands, like Rabobank, ING, ABN AMRO, the big players. And you see big multinationals like Philips, Unilever, or Ahold Delhaize. They all like our graduates. And last not least, you also see the area of Amsterdam and the government. So like Municipality of Amsterdam, City of Amsterdam, the tax office, the Dutch tax office, and Hogeschool Amsterdam, which is the University of Applied Sciences, which has a lot of students and also needs teachers. So a lot of our graduates also teach there. Right. So I think by now you should have a pretty good idea of what business administration is about and what you can do with it. And now we can move over to let's say, frequently asked questions area, because we've noted that a lot of people ask these specific questions. They basically always come back in each and every information session. So this is why we decided to include them already in the presentation. So the first question is, we are offering business administration. Other universities are offering international business administration. What's the difference? Short answer, none. So our perspective is it's basically useless to call it international business administration because there is no way on doing non-international business administration. We're in the Netherlands, it's a small country, always either a supplier or a customer or your staff comes from somewhere else, from another country. So we're living in a global economy. So you can't do it not internationally. The term international business administration basically comes mostly from old programs which exist already for decades, which did it at a time where it was not so self-evident. Nowadays, basically it doesn't make sense because of course business administration is international. So how can I prove that? Well, take a look at the program. It's in English language, a fully English language program. We have international lecturers. We have a student body with more than 50% international students. We have international courses and international materials, and you have the chance to go on exchange if you want. So basically, these are all the components that all international business administration programs have. We have them too. So basically, business administration, international business, all the same. Don't care about what is written on it as a label. So, which leads me to the next question. Mr. Belschak, how about the University of Amsterdam in comparison to other Dutch universities? Because business administration or international business administration is offered by a lot of different universities, either ranging from the south in Maastricht to another university like the Free University in Amsterdam, or one big other university in close by in Rotterdam, Erasmus University, Rotterdam School of Management. What's the difference between all of those programs? Well, to be honest, you will find, if you take a look at the content of the program, that probably more than 80% is the same. And that is because business administration, yeah, everybody wants to offer a broad program in business administration that allows you to pursue a master anywhere else in the world and to work in any kind of function in any organization. This is a joint goal, and we can achieve that only by offering all of those courses. So we're kind of forced to be similar. Wouldn't make sense to do something different, because then you would go into the niche and you would not be able to educate people so that they can work in any function. But still, of course, you can see some differences depending on where you come from. So for instance, we're here in Amsterdam, and Amsterdam is good in digitalization. You have a lot of those digitalization companies, and you have a lot of startups. So you will see that we offer a lot of courses in entrepreneurship and in digitalization. Not only in the compulsory program, of course, there are in the compulsory program courses about these topics, but also in terms of electives and in terms of minor programs. So for instance, in entrepreneurship, we have a minor in entrepreneurship in which you set up your own business. And while doing that, you are supervised and helped from our staff in setting up your own business and coached. Well, that would be a minor in entrepreneurship. Or digital business, we have a minor in the Amsterdam minor in data science, where you learn about programming and where you learn about artificial intelligence, web scraping, all of those latest techniques. But we also are very strong. We're actually among the top 10 in ethics, business ethics and sustainability. So we also, for instance, offer a minor in sustainability. And we have probably more courses in business ethics than other universities, because we find that very important, and we feel that we should have learned an important lesson from the financial crisis in 2007 and 2008. And we should educate a new generation of business students who are aware of responsible leadership and ethical leadership and management. So I would argue that this is what sets us apart. And of course, your year in year number 3. So a full year that you can tailor according to your personal interests is also relatively unique. So that is what I would say is the difference between us and others. Now we get to the last one that we get always asked. We are offering also another bachelor at our faculty, which is called Economics and Business Economics. So, and then the question rises up, what's now the difference between business administration and business economics? Which one should I pick? Well, in a nutshell, business administration is multidisciplinary. In particular, you see stuff like strategy and generic business administration theories, but also the social sciences and psychology, which are part of business administration. We feel that you need it in order to lead your people, for instance, to manage your people properly, but also to manage your customers. So for all of the marketing questions, there's no way you go to anything related to people. It's difficult to do that without referring to psychology and social sciences. Yeah, but business economics is smaller. It's rather focused on the analytical side, so the number side. So what they do a lot is mathematics and let's say finance and accounting. So the number side, the financial side. They don't really do so much the people side. And of course, it's economics. So you could say that business administration is finance and accounting the same way as business economics, but the other 80% is management and business, whereas business economics is accounting and finance from the business side, but the rest is economics. So in this sense, it's really a very different study. So it's not a matter like, oh, they're the same. What should I pick? Doesn't matter. It matters a lot. It's 80% of your study, which will be totally different. So think deeply. Is it more the analytical side that you find appealing and you want to go through to economics? Or is it more the managerial side that you're interested in and the more social science side next to finance and accounting, then you go to business administration? So, and hopefully that will answer already a lot of your different questions, which brings me to the end of my presentation and my small journey through the world of business administration at the University of Amsterdam. And now we can give you the opportunity to ask questions.
Thank you very much, Frank. for all the information and the knowledge. I also saw a few questions about the difference between business administration and economics. So I hope the last slide and all the explanation from Frank actually covered the question really well, and your question has been answered, I hope. We already have a few questions for you now, Frank, just to put it live here. The first one is, how does this school compare in rankings as opposed to other business schools in the Netherlands?
Well, okay, rankings. Honestly, I personally don't like rankings so much because they sound like they say a lot, but actually they don't. Well, but I'm happy to share the information. So the University of Amsterdam is consistently among the top 100 in different rankings, like the QS rank worldwide, like the QS ranking or the Financial Times ranking. And usually we're always number 1 or number 2 in those rankings from the Dutch universities. We're also among the top, I don't know what, in Europe. And again, from the Dutch universities, the number 1. So that sounds pretty cool and fancy. It is, okay. But actually, if you take a look in the Financial Times ranking, let's say we are number 50 something, and then you have another university which is only 90. But actually, the difference, if you take a look, what that comes with a certain number of points that you have accumulated, and the difference between the points for number 50 and the points for number 90 is only marginal. So the universities in the Netherlands are all good. So you basically can't go wrong. Yes, we are cool, we are good, we are highly ranked, but does that mean that other universities are not good and you get bad education there? No, not at all. The one thing that is or might be interesting for you from a business perspective is we are Triple Crown accredited. What does that mean? We don't only have the European or Dutch accreditation. Accreditation basically means that your diploma is recognized. So as an official Bachelor of Science. We also have accreditations from other continents like the US. And that might be interesting if you are interested in moving out of Europe and going, for instance, into the US. Then it might be useful that we are Triple Crown accredited, which means that without any trouble, you can go on with your master's, for instance, of business administration in the US. Other universities do not have that so often. So Triple Crown accredited universities are relatively rare. I think it's only 1% of the business schools in the world.
Thank you. Thank you, Frank. I'm looking at the questions and I see a similar one, but this is more related to the program comparison instead of the university comparisons. And it says, how competitive is this program compared with the other 3 business programs? So I'm assuming business analytics, economics, and business.
Competitive, I assume you mean how easy is it to get into the program? This program is more difficult to get into because we have a numerous fixers. Numerous fixers means you have a fixed number of places. We're doing that because otherwise we are afraid that it's getting out of hands. So we started out with not having numerous fixers, and then within 2 years we're at more than 1,200 students. And that's difficult to handle those numbers. It's difficult for many reasons. You don't have enough rooms, you don't have enough staff, you get into scheduling issues, you have to offer certain courses 3 times because the room max capacity is 500 only. So it's not desirable. So this is why we said, what is a number that we can still handle? And that's for this year, 800, or for the next year when you're applying. This is something where we feel comfortable that if those 800 students come, which we of course hope, we will be able to provide good quality education to them. Other programs do not have those limitations. And the limitation of a numerous fixers means we have to select if there are more than 800 people, and there are always more than 800 people who apply. And that means we have a selection test. You learn more about that later on when admissions will do a presentation. And based on the results of the selection test, we will offer you a place in the program or on a waiting list. So if you're in the top 800 on this selection test, you will be offered a place. If not, you will be placed on the waiting list. So, and that is not the case with other programs like economics and business economics or business analytics. They're basically, you just say, yes, I want, and you get the place automatically.
All right, thank you. And we have one more question here. Can you choose 2 specializations at the same time?
Short answer, no. Long answer, but. You can, let's say, I would not recommend it, but we have a, let's say, 38 hours program for you per week, working week. If you say like, I'm a very talented student and I do it instead of 38 because that's the average number, I can do it in 25. And I'm interested in more topics. So I want to do an additional specialization. I like working hard. So I want to be doing double study load. You're free to do so. It's not forbidden, but it's very difficult and challenging, and I would not advise it. But if there is a specific course from another specialization that you're interested in, you can always do that on top or next to your specialization.
Right. And I think it's a bit of a follow-on because you also discussed about how many hours of study it includes. Yeah, the question is how many hours of the week do I have to sit in the classroom in the first year? So this is more like classroom study
Yes.
versus self-study.
Yes, indeed. So we count on, let's say, a full working week. So that's 38 hours, but that's, of course, including self-study. If you break it down to how many hours do I have lessons at school or at the university, it's, let me think, it should be probably 14 hours a week. The rest is self-study.
Okay, and probably one last one.
Sorry, just to add something to that, that's, by the way, normal in the Netherlands. So no matter which university you go to, there is no university which will offer more in-class session. The normal way would be always something between 10 and 15 hours per week. And the rest is always self-study.
Yeah, and I also think the students that we have today on the panelist, they will also be able to help a little bit with this question to see what is the amount of time they are putting in, for example. And that would give a first-hand experience to our students who are waiting to be answered. I think one last one for you, Frank. What is the teacher-to-student ratio? Is it big lecture halls or smaller groups?
Both. So we work with a combination of big lectures and smaller tutorials. So in the first year, you would have basically always, for every topic, you have a combination of a big lecture and a smaller tutorial. In the big lecture, the lecturer will provide you with information. It will explain stuff from the literature where she or he feels that it's not well explained. But there won't be a lot of discussion because it's all students together. So you will be there in groups with 300 people maybe, sometimes. But in the tutorials, you're broken down in smaller groups. So there in the first year, you have a maximum of 30 students. In some courses, even only 15 students. In the second year and third year, you will be in groups of 40 students. And there you will have more interactions. There you will discuss what you've heard in the lectures. You will learn to apply it. You will use cases. So there it will be very interactive, and there will be smaller groups.
All right. I think we're going to close this part of Q&A at this point and move on to the next part, which is admissions. But I just want to remind everyone that my colleagues are still there responding to questions. So please feel free to drop in your questions. Thank you very much, Frank, and welcome, Rosemary.
Thank you.
Yeah, please go on.
Yeah, so now we are at the admission and selection part. This program has a numerous fixes. And this means that we have a maximum of 800 students that can enroll in the program. And for that, you have to take a selection test. You have 2 different parts. You have the admission to the program and the selection for the program. And if you look at the admission part, the entry requirements, we expect a certain level before you can start the program. And this is the first step. And you can check these entry requirements on our program page. First, you need a diploma that's equivalent to the Dutch VWO. You need the mathematics proficiency, and you need the English proficiency. And for all the details, you can go to the program page, and click on the tab Application and Admission. And there you can see the exact requirements you have to pass, and also check these requirements by using the diploma calculator. So step 2, study link. Step 2 is to register in study link to enroll for the program. And this is a system for the registration in the Dutch universities. And the deadline is early. It's the 15th of January 2024. So make sure not to miss it. After you have registered, you will receive an email from the university with your student number, in which we call your UvA ID, and a link to your enrollment checklist. And in your enrollment checklist, you can see all the steps you have to follow to successfully enroll for the program. So we move on to step 3. Step 3 is to go to that enrollment checklist. And one step in that checklist is to choose a selection test date. And you can also register for a selection test date via the tile Register, Matching and Selection, which is on your program, on your homepage in SIS. And the deadline for choosing a selection test date is also the 15th of January. And you can choose for 2 different dates, Saturday the 24th of February or 2 March. The test will be held online, and on both test dates, the test will start at 2 or 2:30. So a little bit more about the selection test. What I can say now is that it's an online test, and the test is 2.5 hours long. It's multiple choice, and it's about 3 subjects, namely mathematics, economics, and strategy and organization. So 20 questions about mathematics, 20 about economics, and 20 about strategy and organization. And you are going to prepare for the test by an online preparation module. And you will get access to this test 1 week prior to the test. And no further prior knowledge is required. However, we expect you to have a basic pre-university level and the study skills to understand the material, make it your own and apply it. And you will receive all the specific details about the test and how to prepare in February. So then we move on to step 5. Then, if you have participated in the selection test, you will get a ranking number. And that ranking number decides if you will get a place in the program. And you will receive that ranking number on the 15th of April 2024. So all students are basically ranked based on the score of their selection test. So the best student will get ranking number 1, the next 2, and so on. So number 1 till 800 will get a place in the program straight away. And if you have a ranking number that is 801 or higher, you will be placed on the waiting list. So 6, accepting your offer. So then, what will you do with that number you receive? If they offer you a place in the program, StudyLink will send you an email and ask you to accept your offer. And you have 14 days, 2 weeks to do so. And if you don't want to accept your place or you forget to accept your place, that place will be offered to the next person on the waiting list. And in that way, the waiting list shortens quite quickly. And these offers are sent until 1 August 2024. So if you want, the next slide is a slide with some important dates to keep in mind. So if you want, you can read the whole application process and selection procedure on our website. We can also share these links in our chat right now. And the most important thing is to remember the dates that you see on the screen right now. So on the 15th of January, it's the deadline to apply and also to choose a selection test date in SIS. And then in February or March, you will take the selection test. And on the 15th of April, you will receive your ranking number. So it was quite a lot, but that's it. Thank you. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Rosemary. I'm having a look. Yeah, we do have one question here, which would be nice to answer because I see this question is very popular. It keeps coming, I think, every year. On average, how many people take the selection test each year for the business administration course? Maybe a number for the last one would be.
Yeah, it's around almost, last year we had almost 1,900 people that participated in the selection test. And if you look at the ranking number with the student with the last place offer, it was 1184. So that was the last ranking number. The year before there was 1153. The year before, 2 years ago it was 1181. So it's around 1100, 1200. You need that ranking number to get a place in the program.
Right. I'm not sure if this question is for Rosemary or Frank, probably a little bit more for Frank. What is the passing ratio for first-year students in business administration?
So here I am. Plop. The passing ratio, well, let's say the number or the percentage of people who pass the first year is 85% or has been 85% in the last year. So that's pretty high compared to other programs.
Okay, that sounds good. Thank you. Thank you, Frank. Rosemary, I'm just going to quickly scroll through the questions to see if there's anything else that we can bring it up.
Yes.
Live. Someone's asking about the dates and deadlines, but please, you can go to the business administration webpage and look at the admission requirements, and the deadlines will all be published there. But this webinar is also being recorded and you will be able to watch it again. So there you could find the dates again. Yeah, I think we're done for now. I don't see any more questions in the...
Okay, great. Okay.
Thank you very much, Rosemary.
Bye, everyone.
I'm going to move on to our students. And yeah, we're going to start with Veiko. On to you, Veiko.
Hi, thank you for the introduction. Yeah, my name is Veiko. I'm from Croatia, and there's a few reasons why I chose the University of Amsterdam 3 years back when I was watching these kinds of presentations. So first of all, you heard about their ranking a little bit. I would say the university as a whole is very well ranked, but also the business school and the specific courses within the business suite are all very well ranked. You can check the rankings for finance or management or whatever you like if you want to. And for that reason, you can be sure that you're getting great education, but also later down in your career, when you send your CV to potential employers or institutions where you want to continue your education, they will recognize the place where you did your bachelor's. The second thing I would say is the opportunities here in Amsterdam. So the city as a whole, I would say there aren't many places in Europe that are going to give you that variety of opportunities you have here. So regardless of if we're talking about the internships during your study or full-time positions once you're done, your hobbies, your sports clubs, music clubs, everything is available here. And I would be willing to bet that you'll find something you like if you decide to come here. The last thing is, so I don't speak Dutch. I'm guessing most of you guys won't speak the native language of the country you move to if you choose to study abroad. And truly everybody here is able and very happy to speak to you in English. This means that you won't be limited by not knowing the native language of the country, which might not be the case in some other places. So far, in 2 years, I never had a problem with any kind of electives, honors program, minors, but also activities outside of the university. So student clubs, sports clubs, everything is available in English and accessible to you as a foreigner. as far as the business administration program in particular goes, I would say the thing I value the most is the variety of internationals we get. So in last 2 years, I got to work with people from all continents aside from Antarctica, basically, and more countries than I can name off the top of my head. I think there aren't many places that are going to give that opportunity to you, and it's very nice if you get to experience it and see kind of how you would handle working with someone from the other side of the globe. The second thing about the program is the overview of the business fields it gives you. So again, you've heard a bit about this, but I didn't know if I wanted to go into finance or accounting or something else when I was applying. And I think it's really nice that you kind of get the taste of everything. You get to see what you like, but also what you're good at, and then specialize in that field that you chose and finish it off with a master's before moving on to your career. That's it from me for now. If you have any questions, please leave them in the Q&A and we can move over to Huang.
Thanks for passing the ball, Vieko. Hi, everyone. I am Huang. I'm a third-year bachelor student in business administration. I am from Vietnam. A little bit about myself. In my free time, I like playing musical instruments, including ukulele, and trying out good food in local restaurants in Amsterdam, because here we have a pretty vibrant and international community with lots of food from different countries. So if you come here, I think you wouldn't be missing your home country food that much, because there would be a variety of restaurants for you to choose. Yeah, and during my third year right now, I'm having an internship, and apart from that, I also take electives from the UvA. So if you have any questions about internships, I'm also an honors student, so any of that, you can always ask me. One of the reasons why I chose UvA is first, I think the way that I come to the selection, the school selection, is from country to city and then to school. And the reason why I chose Amsterdam, I think I mentioned it a little bit already. It's a very lovely city, very international. I already liked biking before, so when I saw Amsterdam is like the biking, I mean the Netherlands is like the biking country, I was like, this is definitely for me. Yeah, we also have a lot of concerts and events for those who want a lively nightlife. Yeah, and when it comes down to the university, I think as a student, you have a lot of options to challenge yourself, not only within the scope of business administration, but you can also go for honors, where you can take interdisciplinary courses with other students. That's where I get to know my media and culture friends, even like artificial intelligence or, I don't know, political science students. Yeah, and we also have a lot of student associations that you can participate. For our faculty, there's SEFA, SEFA, which is a very big association that you can take a look and see what you can grow and select from. Yeah, and I think that's it for my introduction. I would like to pass the ball back to Ruchi.
Thank you, Vieko and Juan. Some of the students really wanted to know what a typical student life looks like in general, but I think you guys covered it really well, putting together about studies, but also a little bit of fun part, extracurriculars. I think you guys have covered it well. So I'm going to skip that question. But we do have a few other questions here. Is there a lot of mathematics included in the program?
Sure. So I would say mathematics, just for the purpose of mathematics, not so much. So it's not like high school. You won't be doing equations. just for the sake of finding X. But there is quite some mathematics in other fields, so applied mathematics, we could say. Those are mostly going to be statistics and kind of research techniques for the more social science side courses, and then some valuation techniques, finance, accounting, equations, and that kind of thing for the more analytical courses. But so short answer, just mathematics, no. Applied mathematics, quite some, yeah.
Nice. That makes a lot of sense. I have another question here, and it says, can you help the students a little bit about the number of hours you spend studying in class versus self-studying?
Yes. So the way that our university divide between the semesters are, we have 3 different blocks in each of the semester, and in each block you will have 2 courses, except for the third one you have 1 courses. So for 1 semester you have 5 courses in total. And at one time, since you have 2 courses, I would say you spend around 12 hours in classroom, in which for each course, 4 hours for lectures and 2 hours for tutorials. However, from my own experience, you have to dedicate quite a lot of time to catch up with the readings, really understand what the lecturer said, maybe sometimes even prepare the tutorial assignment or group presentation. So yeah, it really added up to like a full-time education.
Thank you. Thank you, Juan, for answering that question. I think you did answer another question as a follow-up. We have from another student, which says, do you have a lot of group work projects or more self-study things? Do you want to add anything, or?
Oh yeah, of course. I think it depends on the course, and of course, you can always check for more information at the UvA course catalog. That's where you find whether that course will involve a group assignment or individual. But I find a lot of my second year courses involve lots of group work. If I remember it right, Virgo, you can always correct me. Yeah, but I think it's pretty fun.
Right. Thank you. This is, yeah, especially a little bit for international students. Did you find it difficult to find housing in Amsterdam?
Yes. So we all know that housing here in Amsterdam is a bit of a problem. I would say it's pretty difficult, especially regardless of if you're international or moving from within the Netherlands to Amsterdam. Yes, if I was in your position, I would probably put myself on the waiting lists for some of the companies listed on the UvA website now, if you expect that you'll be coming here, because coming here without a place and trying to find it, it's doable. I know people who did it, but it's also a bit risky. So
yeah, that's true. Netherlands has a big housing problem at the moment, right?
Yeah.
So, yes, this is a very interesting question, and it's probably both of you can take it one at a time. What is the subject or the course that has been the most challenging so far? And I'm curious to see if it's the same for both of you, or is it different?
Probably different, because Virgo is specializing in finance. But my most difficult course so far is financial accounting 1. Yeah, I always thought that I'm a very like mathematics savvy person, but then that course just get me tricked. Yeah, it's very heavy, both in terms of theories but also calculation, and you really need to like understand how it works, like how the model works, and memorize the procedure of doing accounting, which I find really hard to do.
Right. Okay. And what about you, Vico?
It's gonna be the other side for me. So as Huang said, I'm choosing to do my specialization in finance, and I also have a part-time job in accounting. So that side is kind of more of familiar territory for me. The most difficult course, I don't know. I would say they're pretty balanced, and if you approach them with enough time and enough dedication, all of them are doable. If I had to pick one, it would probably be project company assignment. So it's a course in which you, with a team of other students, have to basically create a plan for setting up your own company. And yes, I guess I'm not the most creative person. So coming up with the idea in a week was not the easiest thing for me. But then again, it's a nice thing that you're in a team. So someone who's a bit more creative than me can come up with the idea, and then I can do the financials and the little tables at the end of the report. So I think nothing is impossible if you dedicate enough time and put some effort in it.
That's true. That's really true. But long answer short, I think it's very different for different students. It's dependent on your personality, what you like, what you don't like more, what you enjoy, etc. So yeah, thank you very much. I don't think we have any more questions at the moment. Thank you, Juan, and thank you, Vico, for all of the information and sharing your experiences with us. A little bit about what's next after you hear about the webinar and about the program. Keep an eye on our website, because we will keep updating information on the program page. If there's anything new, it will all be on the program page. Also, this webinar is being recorded and it's going to be put up on the program page. So if anyone missed anything, if you guys joined in late, you can refer back to this recording. We're coming up with the experience days now, so you can become a student at the University of Amsterdam for a day. The on-campus date is on the 8th of December, and we also have one for international students, which is on the 4th of December. So please sign up for that. That will be very interesting to see how you feel being a student here for one day. And then don't forget to apply via StudyLink, because yeah, it feels like 15 January is far away, but I think it comes before you know it. So yeah, don't wait for too long. Please go ahead and make your applications. Yeah, that's it for now. I think I'd like to really thank everyone. Frank, Rosemary, thank you, Vico and Huang, all of you, for all the presentation. Thank you, colleagues, for answering all the questions in the Q&A. It's still open, so you guys can put in your questions still, and they're going to hang in for a few more minutes to answer your questions. Yeah, and thank you for joining, and I hope this was really helpful and helps you make a very informed decision. Thank you.